What's up, what's going on, legends? It's your boy Errl Shatter here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Cold War MP5 in Warzone, and is it better than the MAC-10? I do have some real data for you guys so I can compare the two. This isn't necessarily, a MAC-10 versus MP5 video, but it will give us enough information to justify how good the MP5 actually is, considering that the MAC-10 is basically considered the SMG meta at this point in our Season 1 of Warzone. So after you guys are, see some of these comparisons, I do think that you guys are going to have a very big change of heart, and I think a lot more of you guys are going to go out there and give the MP5 a shot. I do think that the meta isn't as limited as we think it is. I think there's just a lack of information about some of the other weapons that are available. We do know the MAC-10 is good. We have some information on the MAC-10. I think there's just a lot less information about some of the other weapons and how they could actually compare, and if they're actually better or even equal to the MAC-10 at this time. So we're going to go over, like I said, some detailed information. I'm also going to share with you guys the best class setup or loadout for the MP5 from Cold War, so that you guys can go out there and try this for yourselves. But before we jump into the rest of the video, if you guys do enjoy this content at any time or find this video helpful in any way, make sure you show your support for the channel by going down below and smashing that like button. Let's go ahead and throw an easy goal of 30 likes on today's video, as well as if you guys want to find your way back to the channel for more Cold War and Warzone content, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button alongside that notification bell so we don't miss you in future videos. So like I said, we do have some real data here that can help us basically compare these two weapons and see a little bit closer how much these actually, compare and how similar they actually are. So you guys are going to be, again, very shocked once you guys hear this data. You guys are going to be like, no way, I didn't even know that. I should have been trying different things all along. It doesn't really matter because we're, overall just kind of working our way towards more information for some of these weapons. And I think that's going to overall open up our perspective on what can actually be used and what is actually, considered a meta in Warzone at this time. So to make things easy, I'm going to compare chest damage, or the comparisons I'm sharing with you guys for the most part is just going to be based off the chest and the profile for that. So for the MP5, and this is base versus base, no damage drop-offs at this point. Base versus base, the MP5 has a faster TTK than the MAC-10 by 8%. However, when you get to that first damage drop-off for the MP5, because it does happen at 9 meters instead of 15.5 meters, that's where it takes place for the MAC-10, in that in-between time where the first damage drop-off hasn't happened for the MAC-10 yet, the time to kill for the MAC-10 is actually 16% faster. However, again, once we hit that first damage drop-off for the MAC-10, and we compare that to the damage drop-off to the MP5, again, the MP5 does reign above the MAC-10 at a 9% increased TTK. Again, another damage drop-off happens for the MP5 at 16, which is the last damage drop-off for that weapon. Obviously, at that point, you haven't had your second drop-off for your MAC-10, so then again, the MAC-10 actually is ahead as far as TTK is concerned to the chest by 10%. So you can see it kind of goes back and forth, but when you actually compare the damage drop-offs or the base versus base, when it actually is equal, when it's one damage drop-off for one damage drop-off, the MP5 outperforms. When it's base versus base, the MP5 outperforms, as well as the last damage profile or drop-off for the MP5 happens at 16 meters, where it actually happens at 32 meters for the MAC-10. So with this comparison, you can see that these weapons are actually fairly equal. Obviously, this is not considering any attachments included, but obviously the attachments do similar things. So if one is better on the base, even if you were to use equal attachments on both weapons, it's going to be still similar information. You're going to get the similar data, just going to be with full attachments on. So base versus base, or first damage drop-offs, first damage drop-off, the MP5 actually outperforms the MAC-10. Now, one big vital information is when it comes to headshots, now that the MAC-10 has been nerfed, the damage change, or the obvious TTK change, I guess you should say, is made it to where the MP5 actually outperforms with headshot damage no matter what the comparison is. Base versus base, first damage drop-off versus no damage drop-off to the MAC-10, the difference is huge. For base versus base, no damage drop-offs at all, is 27% faster TTK hitting headshots with the MP5 over the MAC-10. I'm not going to go into too much detail with the headshots, because obviously headshots are something that you're not going to always hit. So I think the chest definitely gives us a much broader or a much more reasonable comparison. So that's why I chose to do that for the most part. But it is, I think, a vital piece of information to know that when it comes to headshots, the MP5 is far more dominant. Now, one thing about the MP5 that kind of holds it back, because obviously if we're saying the MP5 kind of outperforms the MAC-10 in some time to kill ranges and variations, there is a big difference. slightly, you're going to be a little bit slower with the MP5. The ADS time between these two weapons is only different by about 1%. However, when it comes to strafe speed, the MAC-10 is actually 10% faster than the MP5. So with, that being said, I think the differences in where the MP5 is actually better than the MAC-10, they do find balance because of the strafe speed difference, to where the MAC-10 and the MP5 are pretty much equal. If I was going to say one's better than the other, I think I would be lying. I think it's fair to say that the MAC-10 is just as good as the MP5. Vice versa, the MP5 is definitely good as the MAC-10. People have been definitely sleeping on this weapon, and I think after, a little bit more time goes by, you're going to see a lot more people running the MP5. Does that mean that, you shouldn't run the MAC-10? No. Does that mean you shouldn't run the MP5? Absolutely not. It's just stating that the meta is a little bit more expanded than we originally thought, and that there is more viable weapons available. People just haven't gotten, caught on yet. So now that we've kind of given the backbone to the MP5, we have a little bit of an understanding on how it compares and why it's almost basically equal to the MAC-10. Let's go ahead and dive into the class setup or loadout that we're using, so you guys know exactly what you guys could be going out there with, and you guys will be well prepared when you guys go out there and try the MP5. All right, so the attachments that we're looking at for our MP5 loadout include, for our muzzle, we're running that agency suppressor. You could absolutely run the SOCOM eliminator instead, and it's going to help you a little bit more with vertical recoil control. This is all going to, be different for those of you who have a harder time dealing with the recoil, as opposed to some of us that have maybe better control. Personally, I like the agency suppressor better, but if you are having issues, definitely switch it up to the SOCOM. For the barrel, we're running that 9.1-inch rifled. And also a good option you could use as well as the 9.5-inch task force. These are very comparable. I think, in the end, I think I prefer the rifled. However, it is possible, we'll have to find out with more information down the road which one actually reigns superior. For our stock, we're running that no stock. I love the sprint to fire time increase. No stock makes it, really nice. For our ammunition, salvo 50 round fast mag. This thing is amazing. You want to have the most bullets as you can with this weapon. So it's awesome to have a 50 round magazine. It's going to give you the ability to take out more people. You're obviously not going to have to reload as often. And this thing is just a beast. You're going to want to have the extra, support for the ammunition, as well as, again, with the MAC-10, a lot of people are using that 53 round magazine. So this is a good way to actually kind of compare those two. For the underbarrel, this is going to make absolutely no sense at all. But originally I was using the field agent grip. It does tell you it does help vertical and horizontal recoil control. In Warzone, this is not true whatsoever. The field agent grip at this point actually appears to do nothing at all. So we're going to be running the bruiser grip, which is said to have melee quickness as a pro. However, after speaking with my good friend JGod, who helped me collect some of this data, or actually come to the conclusion of some of this data, the bruiser grip actually helps vertical recoil, and it doesn't make sense at all. So definitely make sure you run it for now. I don't know if this is going to change in the future. We're just going to have to see if they make changes, because some of these attachments do things they're not supposed to, and some of them don't do things that they are supposed to. It's a very weird dynamic. Things are very, very broken in Warzone at this time. So after comparing the MP5 to the MAC-10, I think it's very fair to say that they are on a very similar level. You're really not wrong using either of them. And for some people, the MAC-10 might feel a little bit better. For others, the MP5 might be a little bit more fun to use. Personally, I enjoy using the MP5 a lot more. It's just a weapon that I feel really comfortable with. I like that it's slightly a little bit slower as far as fire rate. However, it is equal to the MAC-10 as far as, overall damage is concerned. If you want to be realistic too, the MP5 actually does do more damage per magazine than the MAC-10. So that could be a deciding factor for you. Maybe you want to use that as your leverage to start using the MP5 over the MAC-10. Doesn't matter. I kind of, advocate for all of you guys to go out there and give the MP5 a shot. Add some variety to your loadouts. You don't have to be limited to the DMR with the MAC-10. You could run the MP5 with a DMR now, and in hopes in the future that meta will actually expand and we'll have more options. As far as SMGs are concerned, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't use the MP5, and I hope to see more of you guys do that in the future. That's going to wrap things up for us here. We covered the best class or loadout with this weapon. We discussed how it compares to the MAC-10 so that we have a good backbone to justify that it is a good weapon. But that's going to wrap things up for us here. If you guys have any comments or questions down below, make sure you guys leave those for me. I will be happy to answer as much of them as I possibly can. But that's going to do it for us here. If you guys did enjoy this video at any time, make sure you guys hit that like button for your boy. Smash that subscribe button so you can find your way back to the channel. Hit that notification bell so we don't miss you in future videos. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support on the channel. Hopefully you guys all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.